Hey everybody, welcome back to Stone Mountain Adventures. We've got another adventure for you today. We're going to be cooking up a complete chuck roast. It's about 2¼ pounds. I'm going to eat it, all of it. And it's pretty big. We're going to be cooking it, smoking it on the PitBoss Austin XL. We're going to slow smoke it at around 225, 240, 250-ish until it gets to about 115, 120 degrees. And then we're going to sear it over here on the Weber kettle using our Vortex grill accessory. I don't know what it's called, but it's supposed to be real cool and do a lot of heat and make it sear and all that good stuff. So here's our chuck roast. I bought 4 of these at Sam's the other day. I figured big pieces of meat. My dog is literally losing his mind. It's a beautiful day out today and he is happy about it. But I bought 4 of these things, about 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds each pack. So we're about 2¼ pounds on here. And I'm going to cut some of the other ones into smaller, like chuck steaks. But I wanted to have a big, nice, meaty meal today. And so that's what we're doing. This thing is literally probably 2, maybe a little over 2 inches thick. I seasoned it up this time with a little bit of garlic, salt, and like salt and garlic. And I mean, it's not necessarily strict carnivore if you're being real strict, but it's still going to be delicious and still going to be pretty in line with carnivore. So let's go ahead and get it on the pit. We're running at 220 right now. Let's get it on there. So as you can see, I've got my thermometer probe in here. Luckily the Austin XL comes with ports, so you can always keep up with what temperature your meat's at. We're going to go ahead and throw this over here on the right side. Then we're going to take our probe, get our probe port put into the number 1, and then we're going to get it back in the meat. And you want to try to keep that probe going in the meat as evenly and as close to the center as you can to make sure you're getting an accurate temperature. Showing right now, our meat is 41 degrees. Not quite room temperature, but better than right out of the fridge. All right, so we're gonna let that go until, like I said, it hits about 115 to 120. Y'all know I like my stuff more on the rare side, so the longer you let it smoke, the harder it's gonna be to get that rare to medium rare internal once you sear it. So I'll see you guys when we're firing up that Weber kettle. All right guys, so the internal temperature on that chuck roast is right around 75 degrees right now. We're gonna go ahead and get this charcoal started for the sear. Today I'm just going to be using these Royal Oak tumbleweed charcoal starters, lighter starters, fire starters. Use them for all kinds of stuff. So what we've got here, I've got about a half of a chimney of the charcoal basket filled up, and then I've got a couple coals down here. This is the Vortex insert. We're going to go ahead and put our tumbleweeds in there. And once those get lit up, we'll just go ahead. I'm going to set the basket down in there as level and flush as I can. So that'll start those coals in the bottom, and then also start the ones up in the chimney. And then once the chimney's going good, we'll go ahead and dump those in there, let everything come together, get as hot as it can be. And I think by that time we'll be ready to pull that chuck roast off of the PitBoss. So once this is going, once we're searing, I'll check back in with you. Alright guys, we have our coals lit on the Weber kettle. This thing is putting off some crazy heat. We're going to get a really good sear from this Vortex insert here. The thing about the Vortex is it holds all your coals together, and then the funnel cone kind of centralizes the heat into one spot, so it really helps with searing. We're going to go ahead and throw our grate on. Kind of let that get a little bit hot. Right now the chuck roast is like at 107 degrees. I think we're going to be good enough to go ahead and pull it off. So let's go ahead and get it off the pit. As you can see, our temp is about 220 to 225. I've ran it about that low the whole time. It's taken about an hour to come up to temperature. Got a beautiful mahogany color on this chuck roast. I'm using a combination blend of pellets. Okay, get our probe out. Gonna set it to the side. And look at this chuck roast. It looks amazing. Let's get up here to the kettle. Alright guys, so as you can see, those coals are screaming hot. We're just throwing it right. Oh, you can't even hold your hand over it. It's so hot. Throwing this bad boy right over the center. We're going to go about, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then we'll flip it again. Look at that. We'll go another 30 seconds on this side, and then we'll flip it one more time, go another 30 seconds, flip it again, another 30 seconds. Pretty much a minute on each side total. I just didn't want to go one whole minute straight. Look at the color on this thing. I don't know if y'all can see it on the camera, but it looks amazing. And there's another 30. You can tell that fat is starting to render. Just getting kissed with the flames. Take our plate. Look at that. A great sear on there. Juicy. Let's let this thing rest for a little bit. Alright folks, there you have it. Reverse seared chuck roast on the PitBoss Austin XL, and then seared up on the Weber kettle. So, I wanted to see what our internal temperature is now that we've let it rest. About 5 minutes is all. And we are showing right at, if it'll stop, 133, 134 in the thickest part. And I think if I let it go a little bit longer, there's 137, 139. So about 140. There's 145, 142. Yeah, so right exactly where I would want it to be. I think this thing is going to be delicious. So what you need to do, if you don't have a smoker, if you don't have a kettle, if you don't have charcoal grill, all you need to do is set your oven to bake at about 225 to 250 degrees. Put this in a pan, maybe with a little cooling rack, or a broiler or something like that to keep it up off the pan so that the air can circulate around it. Let it come up slowly. You can probe check it if you want to, if you're not going to leave in thermometer, or you can just kind of give it about an hour-ish and then go ahead and sear it. You want to go ahead and sear it in either a cast iron pan or a skillet, maybe throw some butter in there, baste it with that butter. It's still going to turn out just as delicious as I know this is going to be. So, let's stop talking. Let's give this thing a try. Now on a chuck roast, the grain goes all kinds of different ways because it's got a bunch of different muscles all in one. Right here, we got one going this way. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this corner off right in the center, and look at this beautiful red cut of meat. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Here we go. Smoky, tender, juicy. This is the second time that I've cooked a chuck roast this way. And to be honest, being on carnivore now, I don't know why I would ever buy a big, huge ribeye when I can get chuck roast much cheaper and make it taste just as good. It's rich, it's fatty. And when we slow smoked that and then seared it, notice there's no gray band. There's no band around the outside where you've got one side hot and it's cooked further in, and you flip it and it cooks further in and it deletes your red center. Doing it reverse seared, letting the smoke come up and letting it smoke slowly, that keeps the whole thing the same cook all the way through. And then when you sear it up, you don't get that gray band. So, Try it out for yourself. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're wondering what seasoning I use something, I don't know if it's everywhere. It's called Jane's Crazy Mixed Up Seasoning. It's chunky garlic seasoning with garlic, salt, and a little bit of onion. Again, it's not strict carnivore. It's not like just meat and water kind of carnivore, but for me, not having any kind of autoimmune issues with seasonings and spices, this right here is the way to go. As always, guys, y'all stick with me. We'll see what we can do. Be sure to check out all my recent videos showing the updates on carnivore, things I've tried to cook, things I'm eating, all that good stuff. Until next time, y'all stick with me. We'll see what we can do. Thanks, guys. God bless. This is so good.